I know I'm not done with it yet. Don't read it. I just I don't like how it is going, what is telling. You have contradictions, well, either direct contradictions or apparent contradictions from things earlier. It just, I wouldn't bother with Buttercup's baby. And I know there's some more to go, but no. We're finally getting some explanation. It's stupid, but we're finally getting some explanation for how they escaped Humperdinck. Because the Morgenstern ending was Fezzik chooses the wrong path on a fork, Westley relapses, Inigo's wound opens up again, and Buttercup's horse throws a shoe, all while they're being chased. Well, Fezzik ends up leading them down the wrong path, because apparently, at least Buttercup, who should actually know the way, is just not paying any attention. He leads them down the wrong path. Notices Inigo is out. So grabs him to try to hold him and help him. And then Buttercup's he stopped breathing. So grabs Westley, now he's trying to hold him do something. This causes the horse to stop because now he's got a giant and two full-grown men on him. Buttercup is trying to say something, that's when it throws a shoe. And now Humperdinck and 50 of the Brute Squad arrive. And actually, Humperdinck even fires an arrow that is targeted right at Fezzik's heart. So it plunges in. He falls back. So now the three men are on the ground. Buttercup doesn't know what to do. She climbs down and is trying to wrap her arms around all of them. Which, by the way, we still don't have an explanation. We still haven't had a moment of her understanding that Inigo and Fezzik are friends now and not. I mean, yes, they are the same people that 3 months ago tried to kidnap her and were willing to kill her. I mean, we do have some acknowledgement with the whole, she goes, Mr. Giant, because she doesn't know his name. But still, it's the whole, she doesn't know to trust them. But now going to wrap her arms around her while expecting death. And then it's also, she's looking at the trees, and it's like, oh yes, I remember how lovely it was when I was growing up on the farm. How when my chores were done, I'd just go down and wander through the trees. Except that's not what she does. It explains earlier that the thing that she loved to do most was ride her horse. That is what she spent all her time doing if she wasn't tormenting Westley. So now it's oh no, we're inserting this new thing. How about she loved most riding her horse through the woods? See, now you're actually staying coherent, consistent with what was stated before, and having the trees may be of any importance. But we're not done yet with the stupidity here. Let me just put it like this. If Goldman had lived longer and was actually able to write the full Buttercup's baby, I cannot help but believe he would have had to rewrite this stuff, because there are so many problems here. So, Humperdinck's arrow pierces into Fezzik, aimed right at his heart, is going right to it. Why doesn't it kill him? Well, because he has a Holocaust cloak. It's like, okay, hang on. He dropped that because it was burning. It was smoldering. He dropped that. He left that outside the castle. Except no, apparently he decided, now I'm going to take that, put it back into my stuff. There's no reason for him to. It's still burning. It's going to hurt him to be against his skin like that. He's going to do that. But not only, he's not just putting it in the front. Because I'm seeing it as he's facing that way. Buttercup has come up here and is talking to him. He's not turned around. So Humperdinck's arrow has come in the back. So he has a Holocaust cloak. He stuffed it down back here. And somehow it's up high enough to be where his heart is, not towards the bottom. And still in good enough shape to slow the arrow enough to not kill. There's more. Remember, Fezzik took the wrong path, because there's a path this way and a path this way. This one is the one to the bay where the revenge is. He went this way. Humperdinck comes and is about to order everyone through. Oh, and also Humperdinck is thinking about, which of these should I order to have killed first? Well, there's Westley, he's the leader. But, well, he's weak. I don't need to worry about that. There's Inigo. He must be great because he killed Rugen. But he's weak too. So that leaves so then there's the woman. And it's like, well, women, they're killing them. It's like this. Like, hold on. it was talked about you've never killed a woman before. But now suddenly he has, and he knows what it's like, and he knows, it's best to leave them for last when they're praying and all that for help and all that. That's best to leave them for last. So that means the giant was. Maybe you want to get all technical and be like, well, it said that he never killed one with his own hands before. It's like, he still is recounting a knowledge that if he had it during the body of the Princess Bride, he would have said something. Like, it should have been mentioned there. But instead, it is very clear he's never killed a woman before. That is what's being said. He's never killed a woman before, but now he has this experience. And it's like hours after the end of the Princess Bride. It gets better. How are the 50 brutes charging at him going to be stopped? And apparently stopped in a way that no one bothers with actually dealing with Humperdinck. The crew of the Revenge jump out of the woods and take care of them. They're over here. The path to the Revenge is down here. So the crew decided to leave it, come up, not towards the castle where they would expect Westley to potentially be, but no, let's go over this way. Let's stand in wait, hiding amongst the trees, or even just, this is the way that they went. They've said, yeah, we're not going to go to where we expect our Captain Roberts to be. This is also important. And said, no, we're going to go over here. It's the middle of the night. Somehow they recognize it's Westley. Somehow they aren't like, they decide, oh, hey, that's our captain. Let's go up. No, let's wait until this brute squad comes up. Then we're going to jump out. And then it's also, so you've got Inigo and Westley in very bad condition. So they deal with the brute squad, and what do then? Well, let's, pick them up and carry them all down to the Revenge. That's when we're going to bother with tending their wounds. So, upon arriving, Inigo and Westley are both dead. Long dead. Rigor Mortis is setting... No, they're not. Because you have to have the time for the battle. You have to have them being carried there. And this is dumb. This is dumb. It is wrong as well, I would even say. Because it is just wildly inconsistent with any amount of reason. Pierre, by the way, is the name of the first mate. So he's next in line to be the Dread Pirate Roberts. And he has some knowledge of medicine. But they have a blood clogger, clotter, whatever. The dude is going to treat Inigo. Does that. Which apparently Inigo... Yeah, sure, he's lost a lot of blood, but, he'll be fine. Oh, it also, by the way, is more basing off the movie than the book. Because it has to remove Inigo's shirt. That's fine. Remarks on there being wounds to both his shoulders. It's like, hold on. That was something I specifically noticed in the book. He was wounded by Rugen only in the shoulder and in the arm, the left arm. It's only in the movie that the right shoulder is hit. And as I said in that video, it always bothered me in the movie. Why would he let his right shoulder be hit? Like, he's deflecting the attack there. So he's intentionally wounding his right shoulder. He needs that for fencing. And I get the whole, it looks fine in a movie, but no, the book would be right. He should be deflecting to his left arm. He doesn't need that for the fight. And now it's like, we're going to... So you're contradicting the book now. Well, very, very clearly. Because you could accuse me of just misremembering something like with the whole thing with Humperdinck, if he kills women or not. But anyway. Now Pierre's asking, okay, what's up with Wesley? What happened to him? And Fezzik is explaining, well, the life got... Well, no, Pierre's like, oh, it looks like the life got sucked out of him. When did that happen? Oh, yeah, that was yesterday. And it's like, hang on. How does he even know what that looks like? Like, does the machine exist in more than one place? Because it was Rugen's invention, but now Pierre can just look and say, oh, it looks like this. Oh, and it's like, then relaying, Fezzik is relaying what happened. Oh, man. Well, if only I were there with you, because then I would have known, we need to bring him to Miracle Max. We did. It's like, okay, we got problems here. Why the hell does Pierre know who the hell Miracle Max is? And by the way, also, there was something I forgot to mention previously. It was in I think it was in Buttercup's Baby. It may have been in the introduction, might not have been in the first part. Where it said that Max was fired because the king and queen were displeased with, like, they knew something was wrong with Humperdinck, basically that bad seed kind of thing, and Max couldn't do anything about it. It's like, hold on, That's not why he was fired. And that's also implying that he was fired long ago. He was only fired a few years before this happened, before all the events of the Princess Bride happened. So it's like, again, you're completely contradicting what you've had before. Why would Pierre know about him? Why would Pierre know about him with such respect to be like, oh, if only you had brought him there? Well, he did. And what did he do? He gave him a resurrection pill. Was it a fresh one or was it an old one? It was a fresh one. Did Valerie get covered with the chocolate? By the way, she was known as the witch. Max knew her as Valerie because they were married, and technically she wasn't even a witch. Right? She just she knew potions well, but wasn't an actual witch. She served the purpose well. Apparently, Milkman needed to have witches around. Anyway, how does Pierre have all this information that he really shouldn't? Why is some of it wrong when it shouldn't be? And it's also, why? And it's, there's even an element of, oh, good, she put that chocolate on. That means it's like really gonna work. It's, I don't think so. I think it was only said that it was like just put a hard shell on it to seal it, which I guess may help, but it's still, it's like you're talking about this as though no, that's actually part of the recipe. There's no one, but when I recall reading it, there wasn't indication it was. That's just something they did because they like chocolate and they had it. So Pierre tries to do stuff, isn't very helpful. Ultimately, Fezzik just holds Westley by the feet to drown him, so he starts coughing up water, because this is an old Turkish remedy. It's like, this is stupid, okay? I was like, realistically, it should just be a, well, if Miracle Max gave him the resurrection pill, and it was a fresh one, everything should be fine. We just need to wait for him to recover. Nothing wrong with that. You can just do that. So Westley wakes up. I think it was a little later when I was feeling like I want to start recording now, but it's like there's too much to read and just start talking about how I don't want to continue. It really is just pissing me off. Because so much of this is contrivances, and I hate contrivances. I sometimes have to use it, and I use a contrivance, and I hate it. I still try to come up with ways to explain it, ways for it to make sense, but I hate contrivances, and this is like pure contrivance. Because it's when you stop and start thinking about it, stop and being reasonable about it, stop and be technical about it, you realize none of it works. What does Pierre say to Westley? His captain, the dread pirate Roberts, here. What does he say? We need to get you off the boat. Why? We're being followed by the Armada, by the Florin Armada. And it's bad for morale if that happens. It's like, so you're going to abandon your captain? The dread pirate Roberts, the fiercest pirate on all the seas. He is king of the seas. Now let's get rid of him. If anything, the response would be, I need you on your feet. Because only you will be able to stop the Armada. Only you will know how to do that. Wouldn't it be better, but it's like, maybe it's time I leave and you become the dread pirate. No. The men need you now. They believe in you. They don't believe in me. They believe in you. It needs to be you. Okay, that's what it should be. Nah, instead it says. And then Westley is like, alright, here's the plan. Get us some chains. Gonna change to Fezzik. Because his thinking is that there's this island called One Tree Island that has rocks all around it, so no ship can get to it except for one spot where there's a whirlpool that'll destroy all ships. And he's like, Fezzik will just swim through it and drag us with him on the chains. It's not a good plan, especially because why would that cause Humperdinck to not continue chasing the Revenge? There's also the whole issue of Inigo's wound is probably not good to put in water, but anyway. They're in the whirlpool. And none of this he explains to them before they start. It's while going, and only by Buttercup's continued questioning that Westley explains. It's like, when she objected to tying up Humperdinck herself, Westley yells at her, "You are the property of the dread pirate Roberts. Do as I command." He yells at her that, but now he's suffering her to ask these questions instead of just saying, this is what we're doing. Fezzik doesn't want to do this. And for a reason that, again, this doesn't make sense with what had been said before. Because he was willing to go in and swim after Buttercup in the water, except he only dog paddles, like, I'm not going to be able to reach her. Why does he not want to get into the water? It's not because of the whirlpool. It's not because of the sharks. It's not because of the sucking squids. He's fine with all that. What is it? What is his greatest fear here? Well, his actual greatest fear is being alone. That's not enough to provoke him to do this. Him being the hero, him saving his friends, that's not enough. Because there's one thing he hates more. Water in his nose. I hate this. You are making Fezzik a childish cartoon. Right? And not like Bugs Bunny cartoon. Okay? Bugs Bunny cartoon, I can respect that. I'm talking about the crap nowadays. Alright? Where it treats 10-year-olds as though they're infants kind of stuff. Okay? That's what you're making Fezzik here. He deserves better than that. I don't want water, man. When did you learn to dog paddle? How did you not get water in your nose then? Why didn't you say, I only dog paddle, but I don't know how to swim? Because he does want to go in and get water. Why don't you do any of that? Oh, because none of it was there. I hate this. I hate that. I worried so much when I was writing the So Many Gifts that I didn't have contradictions with failure. I really worried about that. Now, I will admit, I actually did not reread Failure to make sure that I would go back and search for certain things, yeah, but I didn't reread it. Probably that's because I was following a new main character. There's a lot of things I didn't need. And it's also, I had already thought out some things for the So Many Gifts while I was writing Failure. Just a few points, so I knew those were in Failure. I knew I didn't need to go back for that. Because I knew those were already there. And with things I knew, it's like, oh, have I already established this? I could look for it. And see, either I did establish it, so make sure I stay consistent, or I didn't establish it, I can do whatever the hell I want now. I made sure that so I made sure it was consistent. I will admit I did not read through, but hey, I intend to be reading through it at some point. I'll be making edits, so maybe I'll find some stuff I need to fix in the So Many Gifts. I doubt it. I think mainly because different main character. So there's a lot of background that is going to be fresh just by virtue of that. So I don't need to worry about so much of the other stuff. It's like, so I'm very confident I'll be fine. There might be some inconsistencies, but likely minor. These I do not consider minor inconsistencies, especially because it is one after another, after another, after another, after another. And it continues. Fezzik gets them on the island, where now they lie there for apparently 2 days before finally they release themselves from the chains. It's like, hold on. They need water. They need food. Inigo and Westley are both severely injured and, well, at least in need of recovery if you don't want to count Wesley's thing as an injury. Whatever. But they're just on this island alone. Fezzik takes care of a lot of it. He can cut down trees for, well, bust down trees, I should say, for fire. He can go fishing. Buttercup tends to the 2 men, besides Fezzik, and also helps with all. Eventually, we get to the whole, okay, well, Fezzik and Inigo in their tent. How they made a tent, don't know. I think it's a tent. You know, I don't even want to look. I don't care. Whatever the hell they make. They're in there. So it's her and Wesley out by the fire. And it's basically and he teases her a little bit, but she wants to get it on. I mean, it's like, that's the whole idea. She wants to have sex. And he teases her about it. That's like, because she's like, all we've ever done is kiss. And he's like, is there anything more? Dude. By the way, still no mention, and she even still referred to Humperdinck as her husband, that's not true. Like, the movie is accurate there, and you are basing some stuff on the movie instead of on the book. It's like, I mean, technically you could argue she's asking for adultery here. I mean, it's like, But they write some stuff in there that it was part of the coursework that she had to do to prepare to be royal. It's like, okay, the funny thing is, I think that might not actually be unreasonable. There are some apparently odd writings in Europe that do kind of relate to this. I've never read them. I've just heard that they exist. Whatever. So it's like, okay, it's still, this is a weird scene, very awkward. I'm not entirely sure why you're bothering to write this. But it also does say one thing. Let me see if I can find it. Because this actually kind of pissed me off. Okay. Yes. Okay. Surely they could be nothing more than kissing. This was that Wesley has just said this. This was somewhat disingenuous on his part, because he had been king of the sea for several years, and, well, things happened. Excuse me? So Wesley is so dedicated to Buttercup. He knows it is true love. It has been true love for years and years and years for him. So now that he is king of the sea, apparently he has lovers. No. I'm out. Why are you doing this? You built up Inigo's character in actually a nice way. It would be fine if he were a main character. He isn't, but you did that. And now it's like oh yeah, apparently, Wesley, he got abound. Well, he was trying to do what he could to build up his fortune so he could find Buttercup, bring her to America, marry her, live happily ever after. So he's getting it. Nope. Just, nope. So anyway, 9 months later, Buttercup is certain it's going to be a son. It's not. We already know that, but going to be a son. And none of them know what's happening. Which also, by the way, I think it would make sense. That would have been part of her training, because it's like, yeah, you're going to be having kids, Buttercup. That's why you're marrying him. That why you're marrying Humperdinck. You're definitely going to be aware of some of this. And oh, by the way, here, we'll even introduce you to the midwives that are going to be helping you. Oh, and by the way, here's the woman that may end up being the wet nurse as well. Like, actually, that I don't know. They more likely have to bring somebody in. But it's like, that also was a thing, I'm pretty sure, that queens would have wet nurses because there was the concern that nursing could ruin their figure, ruin their shape. So it's like, nah, wet nurse. I think that point. It might be something else. But that wet nurses existed, so and it is reasonable that would have been all there. So, but she's got no clue. The men, they got no clue, which again is Wesley is supposed to be highly educated. Like, he intentionally read a lot, so it's again reasonable he could actually have some knowledge. But no. So she eventually goes into labor. They're all useless. Wesley's at least there, And the labor is going for 50 hours, and it's like, I don't actually know how that does rank. I know my eldest sibling was apparently 30 hours, I've been told. Middle was 20, I was only 10. At least in the hospital, so it's okay. 50 hours probably is rather long, but I mean, might still be Fezzik is hiding. He doesn't want to be there because he's concerned about all the blood and the yuck. He's supposed to be an adult, people. I get he can be simple-minded, but an adult, not a child. But then it talks about how his mother, when first seeing who would be his father, who she would eventually marry, was immediately taken with him. But she was so shy she couldn't really approach him until she was invaded. Basically, it's described as just another personality entering your body so that could go on and do this. It's like, okay, you know what that actually sounds like to me? Especially because it even describes, like, the next day after he was then spent with her. and that she was, more brash, more like, yeah, I'll do this and outdo all the women. That sounds more like a woman just deciding, you know what? That's a man I want. Whatever I need to do, I'm gonna do it. It sounds more like that. So yes, acting against your normal character, but you're doing it by choice. You're not invaded. Fezzik, though, gets invaded where it's like full on. I am a medical wizard, and not only do I know how to deliver this baby, who, by the way, they also describe Buttercup being dead now, having died. But it's not only that, as far as like cesarean section, but it's also that not only this baby taking a long time to be born, but also is actually backwards, and the umbilical cord is wrapped around its neck and is currently suffocating. It's currently being strangled. It's like, so not only are you invaded by somebody with special knowledge, which is already a problem, but his special medical knowledge now also is like instant sonogram. Asks for soap to be brought so he can disinfect his hands. It's an emergency surgery. And they've made soap? Put the tip of the great sword, which I'm not sure if that's Wesley's sword or the six-fingered sword. Either way, put the tip in that, and describes it being red hot. I don't think you'd necessarily want to do that. I think just heat it up enough that it's stale, cut in and all that. But it's also, there's something else, because Wesley and Inigo both see Buttercup and conclude she is dead. It's like they would know death, okay? They would be aware of what that looks like. But the invader from Fezzik, because Wesley doesn't want any physical harm to come to her, so it's like, no, because I will kill you if you try to cut her open. Now, if you wish to live your life alone, keep the sword, the invader is saying to him. If you wish a child and wife, do what I tell you. It's already been said that she's dead. I just want to look at that. It's already been said she's dead. And Inigo and Wesley would be aware of what dead is. And yet, fine, this invader has better knowledge, has special knowledge. But still, it's like, this is all contrivances. And I hate it all. I hate it all. I'm just trying to remember if there's anything. And also, to help put this in context of how much I hate this, I haven't had to look at my notes. Let me look at them now, see if there's anything I missed. Oh, yeah, there was also another contradiction with the body of the Princess Bride. That when she dies, Wesley cries. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it says this is only the second time he cried. The first time he cried was in the machine. It's like, well, hang on. It also described him being next to the machine weeping. Weeping is a form of crying. And the fact that was days or potentially more than a week after, it's reasonable. He's actually been crying a fair amount since he was broken. So why you're saying now it was only the second time, it's like, no, he cried more times. Crap, there's another point. I know I put in here. Oh yeah, it also mentioned that he didn't cry when he saw his parents being tortured. What? Apparently Wesley's parents were tortured at some point. This has never been stated before, never been implied before. Why he was an orphan, we didn't know. But you know what? It also didn't really matter. It could just be, hey, his parents died. Maybe there's a random car accident, they got killed. Maybe it was just disease, plague, that happens. Things that happen. No, apparently they were tortured. Never talked about it before, never apparently relevant before, except, when it would have been relevant to continue giving us his backstory. Now it's just mentioned as yeah, it's there. Didn't you know this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages left. I think I'll make it. But, oh. I know, one more video. Then, I am so glad, though. I know what the next book is I want to do this for. And it's one I've read, actually, years and years ago. And I enjoyed it. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I found it very interesting. I am so looking forward to getting into that. Because it's also based on a true story. So, shouldn't have this level of inconsistency. But absolutely, I'll say it again in the next video, because as part of the wrap-up, if you get this version of it, the 30th anniversary edition, start at page 1 to read the Princess Bride introduction, not the 30th and 25th anniversary introduction, skip those, read the book, stop when you reach the end, don't bother with legitimately, I wouldn't even touch it. Then you can go back and read the 25th and 30th anniversary editions and anniversary introductions. Then you can do that. I would not bother with Buttercup City. And I know, there's technically a little bit more. There's 6 pages more. But still, I'm saying I wouldn't bother with it. It doesn't line up with things. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. But it's also, you know what, the good parts, the ending, use the movie ending. Like, even if you're reading this, then just be like, and then, start quoting the movie at that point. Don't even give the ending of the book, because it's not as good. At least if you're reading to a kid that doesn't yet understand it. Once the kid is old enough to be able to understand that, not always is the book, well, that there can be those differences, then you can explain it. But I just... See you next time.